As was said the other day, a very valid question has been asked. And that question is, why must we know who we are? Why must we know what we do? Mullah Nasruddin was walking down the road when a farmer came the other way and accosted him and said, "Oh, I can see that you're a great mystic and a wise man. Will you tell me, will my olive trees bear fruit?" And without hesitation or equivocation, Mullah Nasruddin said, "Yes, your olive trees will bear fruit." But later in the morning, the farmer noticed the mullah riding down the beach on his donkey and asked, what are you doing, mullah? And the mullah said, "I'm looking for driftwood for firewood." And in the evening, it so happened that the farmer saw Mullah Nasruddin again on his donkey, obviously very, very weary and tired, and carrying no driftwood or firewood. And the farmer quizzically asked the mullah, "How is it that you know my olive trees will bear fruit and you don't know that there's no driftwood on the beach?" And the mullah said, "I know what must be, but I do not know what may be." There's a very famous story of the great Rumi. And it's a story about a wolf who lived in a valley. And in that valley there was not much food to be found, very little prey. So the wolf was always hungry. But he knew that up in the mountains there was a great wealth of prey to be found and food to be found, but it was ruled over by a great lion, and the wolf was deathly afraid of the lion, the fierce lion. But hunger got the best of him on an occasion, so he decided to seek the help of his friend the fox. Now he knew that the fox was in the same situation as himself, never a full belly, never enough to eat, never satisfied. So he went to the fox and found the fox with her small cubs. The cubs so hungry and lethargic they could not even play. So when the wolf suggested to the fox that perhaps they get together and go and make a proposition to the lion, of course the fox was in agreement. He would not miss the opportunity of being able to get food for the children. So the wolf and the fox went up to the mountain, to the lair where the great lion lay. And the lion was sitting outside, den, languishing in the warm sun, when the wolf and the fox came up and said, "We have a proposition for you." Well, the lion, in benevolence, listened to what they said and agreed to what it was that they propositioned. So they went off looking for prey. And before very long, because the fox was able to sniff out the prey and the wolf was able to circle around it and the lion was there to make the kill, they had a great ox, they had a large boar, and a mountain goat. So they dragged their prey down into a flat area And the lion confronted the wolf and the fox and said to the wolf, "Now, tell me, how should this prey be divided amongst us?" And the wolf, rather proudly bringing himself up to his full height, he said to the lion, "Well, the big ox is for you, the boar is for me, and the mountain goat for my friend the fox." "Oh, really?" said the lion. Well, the fox had been sitting there, and he kind of inwardly nodded that this was a pretty good suggestion. But in the very next moment, the lion attacked the wolf and ripped him to shreds. And the fox, looking on and seeing this happening, thought to himself, "Oh, yeah." So he had to have another thought, didn't he? So in that moment, he had what we might call somewhat of a revelation, because he knew what was coming. Because the lion said to him, "Now, fox, tell me, how will this prey be divided amongst us?" And, of course, out of this revelation of the fox came, "Well, Your Highness, Your Honor, Your Majesty, you are the boss. You're in charge here. My fate is in your hands. I'm one with you." The lion smiled benevolently and said, "What a wise fox you are. So if I am one with you, and you are one with me, then all three of the prey belongs to you. Take it." And so he did. And the lion said to the fox, "How did you come to this wisdom?" And the fox said, "Well, it was the fate of my dear friend the wolf that gave me this realization." The question, why must we know who we are? Why must we know what we do? And recognizing that all elements, all characters of every story and every experience we have is ourself. What does the lion represent for us? What is this lion?
Well, it has to be kind of part of your ego, your pride, like your mind overriding the lion who represents like I say like our true self or the God self, or is it then that's what happens? They get there and how we search and think, oh yeah, we've got it, and then our ego comes in and takes over.
Yes. What is it that reigns supreme? Is it something that happened in our life? certainly not a roost that the mind can come back and rest on like some belief. What is it that is unequivocal in our being?
Soul. Soul.
Okay?
By itself.
And is it to be doubted? Is it to be questioned?
The ego often does question it. It takes us away from it and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. But what is it in the end that reigns supreme? What is greater than our fears and our doubts?
Source energy.
It's like a supreme power that can't be ignored or
Absolutely.
pretend it's not there.
That's right. So what happens when we claim it? And doesn't that answer the question why we must know who we are and we must know what we do? Because we know there's no going against it. We know that it reigns supreme. Isn't it so? So what are we on about when we have our little doubts and our fears and the mind comes in and tries to get us off behind the fighting camel?
Yeah, you wish.
Yeah. Thank you.